Welcome to Balanced Beauty Talks, the podcast where we redefine skin health through a holistic lens.
I'm Natasha, an esthetician and nutritional practitioner passionate about helping you nourish your skin from the inside out.
I'm Dr. Khadija, an esthetician and naturopathic doctor here to explore the natural pathways to radiant skin.
And I'm Alicia, an esthetician and skincare enthusiast. Together, we're diving deep into the world of aesthetics, merging modern treatments with internal wellness, so you can achieve long-lasting results without compromising your health.
Whether you're a seasoned professional looking to elevate your practice or someone seeking effective solutions for conditions like acne, you're in the right place.
Join us as we share expert insights, inspiring stories, and practical tips that empower you to embrace a truly balanced approach to beauty.
So get cozy and prepare to transform the way you think about skincare.
Welcome to Balanced Beauty Talk.
Please note that the information provided in this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard on this podcast. Your health and well-being are important, and we encourage you to make informed decisions.
Hello, everybody. So over the last few episodes, we had a lot to talk about. These are very big, broad topics, and we wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction of what holistic skincare looks like as a whole. So moving forward now, our episodes are going to be a little bit more of a bite-size episode. Today, specifically, we're breaking down what you should consider when you're looking for a skincare appointment or to find a practitioner or a skincare clinic, and finding one that aligns with your skincare goals. So whether you're new to skincare treatments or looking to switch up your routine, we're here to guide you through the key factors to look for so you can feel confident and supported in your skincare journey.
Okay.
So specifically, we're going to talk about why finding the right practitioner matters for your skin health and confidence, and how a holistic approach can make a difference in treatment outcomes.
What to look for when booking a skincare appointment? One of the first things that you can look for are qualifications and expertise. You want to make sure that your professional is licensed. Things like advanced training, that they're doing ongoing training. They're not just coming out of school and like, that's it, that's all. Mm-hmm. That they're really focused and prioritizing re-education. Also safety, deeper understanding of skin health and treating all skin tones is really important too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that advanced education or ongoing continuing education is such an important component in this industry because it's forever changing. Technology is changing, information is changing. And just like we mentioned, food was never considered in skincare. Even that, look at how much it's changed. So definitely want somebody who's open-minded to learning all these new findings.
Yeah, and who can answer your questions, because I mean, there's a lot of trends out there. I mean, people are learning about different things about skincare and wellness online a lot. So feeling comfortable as a client to be able to ask those questions, but also having your practitioner aware of what's out there and being able to address some of those things with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Yeah. And then you want to make sure you find somebody whose approach specifically aligns with you as well. So, if you're just going in for a beautiful facial experience, maybe you're just looking for someone with some beautiful hand finesse and the rest doesn't really matter. But if you're looking for, something a little bit more targeted to a concern or a goal you have in mind for your skincare, you obviously want to make sure that they are aware of and continuing to educate themselves on internal and external.
Well, I think not every practitioner will have like a very encompassing education around internal the side possibly. But again, I think going back to what you said of just being open to it and acknowledging the impact that the internal side has on skin, especially when you're talking about things like acne or eczema, you want at least some conversation around it, or maybe referral to someone who may know a little bit more, rather than ignoring that part and just focusing on one section of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't think, like you said, a practitioner doesn't have to have the education or the knowledge whatsoever on specifically giving nutritional advice, but just the awareness of that being a component, and simple things like water or when to refer outwards, or just the open-mindedness, just looking at it from more of a red flag standpoint than anything. If someone is quick to diminish that, it might be because they don't have that knowledge. And so rather than just being open to it, they're diminishing it to make sure, in an attempt to maintain you as a client.
Yeah. Sometimes the ego can step forward, and people just, that's what they know. They're very like black and white about it, but skin is not black and white. There's never really a one size fits all to skin. So I think if you don't have the knowledge and the understanding, that's okay. It's not something we learn in school.
No.
But still just holding space for them to like either to refer them to other people, or if they're working with a naturopathic doctor or internal specialist, that you're holding space for that. You're open to that. You're doing your best to kind of work in synchronicity with what they're doing on an internal aspect.
I think something that is really important is what kind of questions, from a client's perspective, what kind of questions are you being asked through a consultation? First of all, are you having a consultation? You're not, maybe you can just jump into some skin treatments, but I think having some conversation before about your goals, an assessment of your skin, really getting in depth with some of those questions for the practitioner to understand some history behind why you might be experiencing that skin concern. And then that's an opportunity too, where some of the holistic internal side of questions can come in. But I think looking for that right off the bat, whether you're doing a consultation first or you're having a treatment, just making sure that you're being asked questions and you have the opportunity to ask your practitioner questions comfortably.
It's a nice opportunity to build some trust with your practitioner, but also just, I think from a practitioner standpoint, it's also about managing expectations. Sometimes people come in and they think like, well, how long is this going to take? I think we've all been asked that. And that's a really loaded question, because it really is teamwork. There's a lot that goes into it. You can't expect to ever just go into a treatment room and we're going to be the magician that fixes your skin. There's homework, and sometimes that involves you upkeeping and making sure that you're on targeted products for your skin. Lifestyle recommendations. I mean, the list is pretty long, but it's definitely a partnership. So I think that consultation really kind of opens the door to, get a feeling, catch a vibe, if you will, and like, are you a good fit? But also you need to build some trust. There needs to be some education there. There needs to be a deeper understanding of like what this is going to take, maybe like a rough timeline. It's really hard, I think, to give like a definite timeline because there's so many factors that go into that. But just, managing the expectations too and not overpromising. That's a big thing.
Transparency for sure is a big one. If that's, I would say, a red flag as well. If someone's selling you, a package of 3 or something to resolve all of your problems that have accumulated over your entire life, that's probably, a bit of a red flag and something to consider, because it's very unlikely that 3 treatments of anything will fix, what has accumulatively become a concern for you in your skin. So
and it's so different for everyone, and that's something I try and tell clients when they come in, when they ask that question, is we can't really gauge what the timeline is because we don't know your skin, we don't know your response yet, and we can gauge that a little bit better once we start. But I think it's important to know that everyone's skin is very different, and we're going to support you through that process, but it doesn't necessarily mean like we can say in 3 treatments it's going to be, you're going to get what you are looking for. It can take time.
There's a lot of pivoting, that has to happen too. You start on one product and that could be a great fit for like 75% of your, let's just say, acne patients, but those 25 are just not going to respond well to that. So it's never cookie cutter. It's always very customized, and there is pivoting. I think that's part of it. Okay, this isn't working. Where do we need to go? So building like an A to Z plan is really difficult, I find, because especially if they're a new client, you don't really know how their skin is going to respond. They might respond really well to one thing and not so great to another that tends to be the go-to. So I think just the willingness to like learn. It's a journey that we're kind of like supporting you in, but we're still learning your skin. We're still learning, you and what works for you too. So there has to be a bit of flexibility in the approach, I think.
You used the word in your description right there. I was just going to say that's a big reason why we here at Natology call everything a journey. Like most of our packages are a journey, because we want to really that word just means so much. It encompasses that there is ups and downs and there could be shifting and changing, and everyone has a unique journey. We have journey packages that, can start someone on the right track. But there's a lot of shifting and we make them customizable for that reason. So,
And like the timeline too, there's going to be things that are going to get you there faster. And typically those are things like committing to the treatments for sure and staying committed and consistent with your home care routine. There's obviously other things when we look at internal practice too, and there's a lot of flexibility and pivoting that's going to happen there too, right? You might start with one thing and then you're starting to see trends and patterns, and then you're probably going to have to make that shift too. So you need to be a little bit flexible in, the journey of it, because that's really what it is.
One big question that we do ask a lot of our clients and patients in our consultations is whether they want to walk, jog, or sprint to their results. And that's a really important question, because if you want to sprint, then there's a lot of homework and you have to maintain what we recommend at home. If you want to jog, then maybe we'll ease you into a program. And if you want to walk, then, it may be a 1 to 2 year journey, and that's okay. We are here to work with those people who want that. And maybe it's an affordability thing too. And that's okay. It's a very important question in order to design a proper program for somebody. So it sets a realistic expectation. It allows them to understand that there is a big part that they need to play as well, and that we're not just the magicians, like you said, Alicia.
It would be nice if we were.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
There wouldn't be as many med spas in the world if that were the case. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say something about setting expectations too, is understanding that the skin can often get worse before it gets better, because we're starting to push the skin a little bit, and the level of that can also depend on how fast we're moving with the skin. But being open with that with clients, I think, is really important. And from the client's perspective, being ready to pivot and not, just throwing in the towel as soon as things get a little bit worse, especially with acne. The purge is very common, and it happens very quickly when you start working with the skin. And so you have to be patient with that part of it. And that's where, like, trusting your practitioner and building some sort of rapport there is really important, because that is part of their job. It is to help you move through that. But if you obviously don't feel that trust or that comfort level, then it's going to be easy to just be like, I'm out. I can't do this. I can't handle it.
So just to summarize, these are the things that we would typically recommend looking for when you're choosing a clinic or a treatment provider. So you want to look for their qualifications and expertise, their approach to skin health, and make sure that that's in alignment with yours, personalization, and your consultation, that it's really thorough and you feel like you can answer confidently, have all of your questions answered, and transparency and education, so that they're setting you up for a realistic timeline and realistic results.
So now let's dive a little deeper into some of the red flags that you want to watch out for. Like we mentioned, if someone is very quick to saying that you're going to be thrilled with 3 treatments, that is red flag number 1.
Yeah, big promises.
Quick fixes.
Cures. We're going to cure this.
Yeah.
A lack of interest in understanding health and internal wellness and how it is connected to the skin.
Yeah, I think just a general overall focus, majority focus on external versus internal. So there should be a bit of more of a balance there. So if it's really just external, this is going to fix everything. These products are going to change your life. These treatments are going to change your life. You'll never have to do this again. Without discussing, especially when it comes to acne or any inflammatory skin condition, the internal components to that journey that you're going to go on with them. So,
and again, this isn't a red flag to all SDs out there who aren't doing the internal. Just to reiterate that, it just depends on what you're looking to do, what your goal is. And if you're looking for a wonderful relaxation experience and a facial to polish up, then that is fantastic. But if you're looking for a long-term targeted goal, then you want to make sure that you're seeing somebody or a clinic, not somebody, but a clinic that incorporates a little bit of internal recognition as well.
Yeah.
I also think something we didn't talk about, or we kind of touched on, was the skin assessment. Is I've had a few clients come in and say that they've been somewhere and nobody really looked at their skin or really assessed their skin. So I think that's a huge red flag for me, is that if someone is coming in for a skin concern but their skin isn't really looked at immediately, that's personally, I wouldn't really want that. I want my skin to be thoroughly assessed, and whatever recommendations are being made are actually customized to me, not just, oh, I have acne, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah. No cookie cutter plans.
Yeah. And education around that too, because I think it's important for people to understand what's happening with their skin. So if you have a practitioner that's really teaching you what is happening with your skin and what you're seeing on your skin, and then why we are choosing these products or why we're choosing these treatments, I think that's really important too.
Yeah. I think another one too is like maybe clinics that are really quick to jump on trends, skincare trends. They come and go, and some of them are here to stay, and we're excited about all the changes that happen in the industry, but not every trend is worth jumping on. So sometimes that's a little bit of clickbait, and it's exciting to look at. I'm not going to call anything out in particular, but certain things, and we can kind of like understand the science of the skin and know that like, okay, that's a lot of clickbait. That's not really doing much at all, but it looks very exciting on a video. So I think just a clinic or anybody in particular who's like very quick to start a new trend, any new trend they're jumping on, that's a bit of a red flag for me too. Yeah.
And I think just trusting your gut, honestly, like if something's off for you, it's off for you. And I feel like that should be a red flag. Like if you're not feeling comfortable with someone, that's okay. And part of the job of your practitioner is to make you feel comfortable. But if you don't feel that right off the bat, or you just feel like you can't feel open with that practitioner, then it's okay to not work with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another big one is obviously cleanliness. We want to make sure that you feel like you're walking into a clinic space that feels sanitary and safe. And that's a lot of why, if you're going into a brand new clinic or med spa that, you haven't been referred to by a friend or something like that, it is really important to go in for a consultation so you can really scout the place out a little bit and make sure that you're safe in that perspective.
Yeah.
I think another one too is like you can always check their Google reviews.
Yeah.
That's a good way. And they're not always going to be super accurate all of the time. You have to take them with a grain of salt, but it's always a good idea to just Google, get on the reviews, see what people are saying, what their experiences have been too. So, yeah.
Yeah. Google and Instagram are a great place to kind of see what their work looks like, what their community looks like, their education level. It's a portfolio.
It is.
Yeah. And it can say a lot about a company. So some questions that you could ask before actually booking an appointment when you're in a consultation. Can you explain how this treatment works and why it's right for my skin? Make sure that they know what they're talking about, that they are making an educated plan for you. What is your approach if I don't see results right away? This is also a great way to, seek out a red flag. If there's promises that there will be results right away, then that's maybe something we want to reconsider. Because like we said, everybody has their own unique journey. And do you consider things like diet, stress, and lifestyle when creating treatment plans? So just a summary of questions for you to ask all the red flags that we had mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, so to sum everything up, I think the most important thing to consider is that choosing the right practitioner is an investment in your skin's long-term health. So you really have to look at it for the long game. And if it's not working for you or it doesn't feel right to you, then that's okay. Ask the questions that you need to ask, get as much information as you can, learn the approach, look at the environment, take all the information you need and kind of make a decision based on what you want for your skin long-term. If you are choosing to work with a holistic practitioner, so someone that is looking at the internal side of things, make sure that it aligns with your goals for your overall wellness and it's something you feel comfortable doing and it's something you feel supported in doing. And again, always trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. And also understanding, like with skin, it can be very emotional. It can be a sensitive topic. So feeling comfortable, I think, is the most important thing, and making sure that the person you're working with can hold that space for you, because it is not an easy journey to go through. There are a lot of ups and downs. And so your safety and your comfort is the number one priority. So again, if it feels off, if your gut doesn't feel like it's right, it's not right for you.
Yeah. And if you guys are curious about working more with us and you like our approach to skincare, we do offer consultations at Natology. So if you're looking for a more balanced approach and personalized approach to skin health, you're welcome to book a consultation with us. You can connect with us. Our socials are in the bio of each episode, so you can check us out there and follow us and learn more about us if you haven't met us already.
And we've decided we're going to start a bit of a segment at the end of each episode. So follow us on Instagram, and we will post a question box for you to ask any questions that you feel you'd love to have an answer from us to. And we will incorporate a few questions at the end of each episode. And you can also put them in the comments as well.
Yeah, ask away.
And
we're
ask
here.
away. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next episode.